Hi all, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the unit 12, subsection 5 of MMPC 010, that is oligopolistic competition. So what is oligopolistic competition? We define oligopoly as the form of market organization in which there are few sellers of homogeneous or differentiated product. If there are only two sellers, we have a duopoly. If the product is homogeneous, we have a pure oligopoly. If the product is differentiated, we have a differentiated oligopoly. So while entry into an oligopolistic industry is possible, it is not easy, and oligopoly is the most prevalent form of market organization in the manufacturing sector of most nations, including India. And some oligopolistic industries in India are automobiles, primary aluminium, steel, electrical equipment, glass, breakfast trailers, and the cigarettes, and many other. And some of these products are homogeneous while other are differentiated. An oligopoly exists also when transportation costs limit the market area. Example, even though there are many cement producers in India, competition is limited to the few local producers in a particular area. So, since there are only a few firms selling a homogeneous or differentiated production, oligopolistic markets, the action of each firm affects the other firm in the industry and vice versa. For example, when automobile company GM introduced price rebates in the sale of its automobiles, automobile company F&M immediately followed with price rebates of their own. And furthermore, since price competition can lead to ruinous price wars, and oligopolistic usually prefer to compete on the basis of product differentiation, advertising, and service. So these are referred to as the non-price competition. Yet even here, and if GM mounts a major advertising campaign, F and M are likely to soon respond in kind. And when the soft drink company P mounted a major advertising campaign in the early 1980s, soft drink company C responded with a large advertising campaign of its own in the United States. And from what has been said, it is clear that the distinguishing characteristics of oligopoly is the interdependence or rivalry among firms in the industry. And this is the natural result of fewness. And since an oligopolist knows that its own action will have a significant impact on the other oligopolist in the industry, each oligopolist must consider the possible reaction of competitors in deciding its pricing policies, the degree of product differentiation to introduce, the level of advertising to be undertaken, the amount of service provided, etc. Since competitors can react in many different ways, so we do not have a single oligopoly model, but many, each based on the particular behavioral response of competitors to the action of the first. Because of this interdependence, and managerial decision making is much more complex under oligopoly than under other forms of market structure. In what follows, we present some of the most important oligopoly models, and we must keep in mind, however, that each model is at a best incomplete. The sources of oligopoly are generally the same as for monopoly, so that is, economic or economies of scale may operate over a sufficient large range of output as to leave only a few firms supply the entire market. Huge capital investment and specialized input are usually required to enter an oligopolistic industry, and this act as an important natural barriers to entry. A few firms may own a patent for the exclusive right to produce commodity or to use a particular production process. Established firms may have a loyal following of customers based on product quality and service that new firm would find very difficult to match. And a few firms may own or control the entire supply of a raw material required in the production of the product, and the government may give a franchisee to only a few firms to operate in the market. The above are not only the sources of oligopoly, but also represent the barriers to other firms entering the market in the long run. And if entry were not so restricted, the industry could not remain oligopolistic in the long run. And a further barriers to entry is provided by limit pricing, whereby existing firms charge a price low enough to discourage entry into the industry. So by doing so, they voluntarily sacrifice short-run profit in order to maximize long-run profit. So, as discussed earlier, oligopolies can be classified on the basis of type of product produced. So, they can be homogeneous or differentiated. Steel, aluminum, etc. come under homogeneous oligopoly, and television, automobiles, etc. come under heterogeneous oligopoly. So, the type of product produced may affect the strategic behavior of oligopolist, and according to economic economists, two contrasting behavior of oligopolist arise, that is the cooperative oligopolist. So where an oligopolist follow the pattern followed by rival firm, and the non-cooperative oligopolist where the firm does not follow the pattern followed by rival firms. An example: a firm raises price of its product, the other firm may keep their price low so as to attract the sale away from the firm which has raised its price. And but as stated above, price is not the only factor of competition. As a matter of fact, other factors on the basis of which the firm compete include advertising, product quality, and other marketing strategies. So therefore, we normally have four general oligopolistic market structure, two each under cooperative as well as non-cooperative structure, and we have firms producing homogeneous and differentiated product under each of the two basic structure, and all these difference exist in the oligopolistic market. This shows that each firm tries to make an impact in the existing market structure and have an effect on the rival firms. This tended to be distinguishing characteristics of an oligopolistic market. So activity 2 is here based on this. Please try to do it. Next is price rigidity and king demand curve. So what is that? Our study of pricing and market structure has so far suggested that a firm maximizing profit by setting MR is equal to MC. Hope you remember. And while this is also true for oligopoly firm, and it need to be supplemented by other behavioral features of firm rivalry. So this became necessary because the distinguishing feature of oligopolistic market is interdependence. Because there are few firm in the market, they also need to worry about rival firms behavior. And one model explaining why oligopolists tended to not compete with each other on price is the kin demand curve model of Paul Sweezy. Okay, and in order to explain this characteristics of price rigidity, the price remaining stable to a great extent, Sweezy suggested the kink demand curve model for the oligopolist, and the kink in the demand curve a rise from the symmetric behavior of the firm. And the proponent of the hypothesis believe that competitors normally follow price decrease, and they show the cooperative behavior if a firm reduces the price of its products, whereas they show the non-cooperative behavior if firm increases the price of its product. And let us start from P1 in figure 12.3. So this is figure 12.3, that is demand curve from an oligopolist. Okay, so this is price per unit and quantity per period. So since the firm are selling at the same price, any additional sales must result from increased demand for the product. So thus the effect of price reduction is a movement down the relatively inelastic demand curve DD, then the price reduction from P1 to P2. So you can refer this P1 to here in above this P1 and P2 increase also Q and half. Okay, so here we assume that P1 is the initial price of the firm operating in a non-cooperative oligopolistic market structure producing Q1 unit of output. So please refer that figure from your IGNOU study material. So and also read it these portions, so it will more clear. Okay, so next figure is 12.1 sorry 4 is the kinked demand curve. So this is kinked, you can call it your own way. This is KI and KED. Okay, kinked. So here is quantity also in x-axis, and y-axis there is cost and price cartlets and collusion. So what is Carlet's profit maximization? So we already know that is a oligopolistic competition. The fame can compete in many ways, and some of the way include price, advertising, and product quantity, etc. Many fame may not like competition because it could be mutually disadvantageous. Okay, example is here advertising, and in this case the many oligopolies end up selling the product at low prices or doing high advertising, resulting in high cost and making lower profit than expected. So therefore it is possible for the fame to come to an consensus and raise the price together, increasing the output without much reduction in sale. And in some countries this kind of collusion agreement is illegal, so example USA, but in some it is legal. And the most extreme form of the collusion agreement is known as as a cartel. A cartel is a market sharing and price fixing arrangement between groups of fame, where the objective of the fame is to limit competitive forces within the market. And the form of cartel may differ. It can be an explicit collusion agreement where the member fame come together and may reach consensus regarding the price and market sharing, or implicit cartel where the collusion is secretive in nature. And next is cartel profit maximization. So that is cartel profit maximization. Figure is here quantity and price and cost. So please read it, this note also, then it will more clear. Okay. And next is game theory, that is prisoner's dilemma. The story is something like this. So two KGB officers spotted an orchestra conductor examining the sector of Tchaikovsky's violin concerto and thinking the notion was secret code, and the officers arrested the conductor. So this is a story. Okay. So game theory. So please read this story. So full story, if here I read, then it will more, it will not good. So you just read it, this story, and you can see this game conductor is here, corporate confess is there. So this is the situation standard prisoner's dilemma and is represented in the above matrix. So these are all methods, and this scenario is easily transferred to the pricing decision of a company. And consider two companies setting price, and if both companies would only keep price high, they will jointly maximize the profit. Okay. So please go through it. An example, fascinating example also here. And price leadership. So what is price leadership? Price leadership is an alternative cooperative method used to avoid tough competition. Under this method, usually one firm set a price and the other firm follow. So it is quite popular in industries like cigarette industry. So here any firm in the oligopolistic market can act as a price leader. The firm which is highly efficient and having low cost can be price leader, or the firm which is dominant in the market act as a leader. So whatever the case may be, the firm which sets the price and is the price leader, we have two form of price leadership, that is dominant price leadership and barometric price leadership. And in the dominant price leadership, the largest fame in the industry sets the price, and if the small fame do not conform to the large fame, then the price war may take place, due to which the small fame may not be able to survive in the market. So if it is the more or less like a monopoly market structure, and this can be seen in the airline industry in India, where the dominant airline fame set prices and the other subordinate airline fame follow the price changes of dominant airline fame. Barometric price leadership is said to be the simpler of the two. This normally occurs in the market where there is no dominant fame. The fame having a good reputation in the market usually sets the price, and this fame act as a barometric and sets the price to maximize the profit. Here it is important to note that the fame in question does not have any power to force the or the other fame to follow its lead, and the other fame will follow only as long as they feel that the fame's inaction is acting fairly. And thought this his method is quite ambiguous regarding price leadership, it is legally accepted. So these two forms are integral part of different type of cooperative oligopoly. So barometric price leadership has been seen in the automobile sector. So here is an illustration. please go through it, and re-establishing price discipline in steel industry. Okay, so please go through this from your IGNOU study material and read it. So, and activity 3 is here from this side, and also try to do it. It will help you. In between any doubts, you can contact us anytime. Okay, so summary of this unit is here. In this unit, we have tried to explain the concept of pricing with the special reference to monopolistic and oligopolistic competition. The effort has also been made to include the application part of the concept of product differentiation in monopolistic competition and the oligopolistic competition. Talking about monopolistic competition, we have seen that in monopolistic competition, the fame's economic profit is evaded off completely in the long run, and in the short run, monopolistic competition is quite similar to monopoly. So we have discussed the oligopolistic competition in brief. The main characteristics of oligopolistic competition seems to be a mutual interdependence, and this factor decided the nature of oligopolistic competition. So we can summarize the whole unit by saying that the basis of differentiation between different type of competition comprises of the number of sellers, the number of buyers, product differentiation, and barriers to entry. So these factors decided the nature of competition in a particular market structure. And keyword sections are here, so please go through it, and self-assessment questions also here, and please go through one by one and try to do it. It will help you for your term and examination, and also like your assignment, and please go through it. In between any doubts, you can contact us anytime, and for more MBA series, you just do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.
i-tutor Academy presents IGNOU MBA Complete Syllabus Coverage Classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online flexible timing. For more details, contact on +91 623 827 1885.